Welcome back to Elvis 2022 channel, Rare Elvis Photos. I want to cover a subject that is something that we all are interested in, which is Priscilla Presley and why she continues to put down everybody that's not her. She doesn't ever admit to any mistakes. Recently, I shared a video of Priscilla Presley that just occurred about a week ago. And in that video, Priscilla Presley actually talked down about Gladys Presley. And she claimed that she was ignorant because she only had a second grade education. And that's just something, first off, Gladys is gone. Last week I put a video out where Priscilla Presley was being interviewed, and she talked about how it was Elvis that made her self-esteem low. That Elvis told her that she had a long neck, and that lowered her self-esteem. And she said it was actually Elvis that had that long neck. And, she's always kind of passing a buck. With this lawsuit that just occurred after Lisa Marie Presley passed away, she didn't come out and explain herself. Basically, she was arguing that the will was not legal, that the change was not legal, that removed her as a trustee and basically cut her out of the will. And so she went to court and spent $400,000 in legal fees that could have went to her granddaughters or could have went to a charity. Instead, she had Riley pay it out of the life insurance policy at $400,000, and she got $1 million lump sum, and then she got $100,000 a year for the next decade for really no reason, just to be an advisor when she's not going to be given any advice. She doesn't really have any advice to give. And then on top of that, Navarone got 1/9 as well. So, it's a constant, I did nothing wrong. She even I was looking at an interview as far back as I think it was 81, when she talked about her affairs that she had, and she wasn't apologetic about it. People usually have regrets over having affairs. She didn't. She looked proud of it. And that's the Priscilla Presley that I'm not a fan of. I know that there's a lot of Priscilla Presley fans out there that are that all say that she saved Graceland, and that if it wasn't for her, Graceland would have been sold. For everything I've seen legally and historically, is that she didn't come up with the idea of turning Graceland into a museum. She certainly agreed with it because it was a cash cow machine. It was like an ATM slot machine. She knows, if as much as Elvis fans loved Elvis, if they came and she could get money every single time and they would become part of the estate, well, she would get to collect her income. Because, when Vernon Presley was close to passing away, she convinced Vernon to make her a co-executor. She was not a co-executor before. Elvis did not want her to be a co-executor. But anyhow, we know the history. Those that are Priscilla fans that have read the headlines from CNN and Us Weekly and stuff about how she saved Graceland and all that stuff, I get that you think that she did, but she was a small part of it. She was a part of it because she was a face of what Elvis fans remembered about Elvis, even though she was an ex-wife and she hadn't been with him for really 6 years, 6 years, because it was 71 when they split up. And even before that, they weren't really married. There was an affair by Priscilla in 68, 6 weeks after Lisa was born. And, Elvis's Memphis Mafia was going to do something about it. And Elvis said, no, just let her, she's going to learn. And she didn't learn. Well, and once again, this is really not about that. This is more about how Priscilla has not admitted to faults at all. It's always somebody else's fault. All the things that have happened to her, and her self-esteem, and her failures and failed ventures, and the media and the Elvis fans. It's always our fault. I want to know what you guys think about that. Make sure you just leave a comment about why you think I'm right or why you think I'm wrong, why you agree with me, why you don't. And of course, some of these photos are from the book Child Bride, which if you haven't read that, that's going to give you a lot of background into who Priscilla Presley was raised by, which is her mom. And the only people that share the story of Priscilla's innocence and all that history is her mom and her stepdad and Priscilla's sister. They all financially gained from Elvis. The other folks in her family, as well as friends from the high school, junior high school, elementary, they paint a completely opposite, different picture of Priscilla. That's not one that you want to know. So if you want to keep being a fan of Priscilla and not really know the truth according to Child Bride, don't read that book. But if you do want to know a different side to her and make some decisions based upon your own opinions versus what the media is feeding you, please read that book. Anyhow, this is Elvis 2022 Rare Elvis Photos. Wishing you have a great holiday season. And just let's have a conversation about it. Priscilla.